Hello, Lions fans, and welcome to another round of season preview videos for the upcoming 2014-15 academic year. My name is Jack Zola, Director of Athletic Communications here at Molloy, and today we welcome in head women's soccer coach Danny Longo. Danny, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks, Jack.
Coach, let's start off with the preseason. What's the main takeaway for you so far? I know you guys have been at it for about a week and a half already.
I think the attitude is probably the biggest thing, and the work rate. So far, since I've been at Molloy as a women's coach, I would have to say far and away this is the best preseason we've had in terms of attitude, work rate, fitness coming into preseason. For whatever reason, I guess they got the point in the off season. We worked hard in the spring, and they continued over the summer, and they've come in good shape and ready to go. So hopefully that's good things to come.
All right, Coach, let's dive right into this year's squad, and we can go position by position. Maybe mention some key players, players who you foresee having an impact for you and your team this year. So let's start with the backfield.
The defenders, the biggest one that pops up straight away is a kid that we missed wholeheartedly last year, is Annette Mims. Everybody calls her Mims, and she's tremendous. I think she's one of the better defenders in the league. So without her last year, that hurt, and we didn't realize we weren't going to have her. But she had an injury and missed the season. She's back, so straight away it's almost like a new recruit, because obviously we missed her. We had her for 2 years. She was a big part of it. I think she started every game her first 2 years, and then last year we thought we were going to have her, and come preseason and ended up not having her. The girl that'll play next to her is Chelsea Bauer, who is just tough. She was a pleasant surprise last year as a junior college transfer from Nassau, and really works her socks off and does everything she can to be a leader on the field. So those two are the key, I'd say, center back positions. And then out wide, we have quite a few kids. Jackie Valentine's been a staple for years. All 3 years, she's pretty much been a starter. And then last year, we had two freshmen that played a lot of minutes, especially when Annette wasn't in Gabby Batista and Courtney Noakes. So I would think those five will fight for the four positions.
Okay, great. And then can you next please touch upon the forwards and the midfielders?
Midfielders, we could start with, I'd say, we play three in the middle, one or two out wide depending. And, the kids in the middle of the field, Lexa Delator has played a lot over the course of, her career here, and I think she'll continue to do so. Gianna Genosa was a freshman last year. She was an impact freshman. As long as she stays focused and works hard, she's, one of the better players in the league. Christina Restivo has, had a little bit of injury towards the end of the season last year and didn't play at all in the spring. But once she got cleared in his back, she's been an animal. That's pretty much what she is. She works her socks off and really gets things done in the middle. Jess Malone, who's a sophomore, really, I think, has stepped up a lot. She has been a pleasant surprise from last year to this year. So I think she'll work in the mix to get a lot of minutes. Alicia Mercurio, I think, led the team in scoring her freshman year. She'll be back. Then we have two freshmen, I think, that are going to add in that mix too in the midfield. And Kristen Cummings in the middle of the park, and Sam Ranieri out wide. Sam has been, hurt since last week, but her pace is going to cause a lot of teams trouble. And Kristen, her toughness and work rate in the middle is going to help a lot too. As for the forwards, our quote-unquote main guns back, we have Allison Sloper, who 2 years ago got injured and last year, struggled a bit because she still wasn't fully recovered from her injury. I think she's back. She's not 100% to what she was when she started, but when she came here from Marist, but I'd say she's 90% back, and she's going to have a big-time year this year. And the biggest surprise forward-wise, kid Danny Valente, who we anticipated last year to really be a big threat for us, but a lot of times it happens coming in as a freshman. It's a whole new, scene, and struggled a bit. Only scored one goal, but I really anticipate her, scoring 7, 8, 10 goals. And then the one that we really are pushing for is Casey Philippone. She came in here with a lot of, clout. We expected a lot from her. I think she probably would have been preseason player of the year. She would have been one of these kids up for player of the year, year in and year out, but has really struggled with 3 torn ACLs. She looks fit. She looks almost as good as she did her freshman year. She should be cleared by tomorrow, and I think that she's going to be a pleasant surprise off the bench. So we don't expect anything because obviously she's coming off a lot of injuries, but knowing her, I think she's going to come in and give us a lot.
All right, and then lastly, the goalkeepers.
Goalkeepers is a good one. Goalkeepers, we have Nikki Della Porta, who's been our starter for 3 years, and she's going to be a senior. And, just being a coach and knowing that you need to push your players, number one, and number two, that you need to replace your players moving forward, meaning that Nikki's going to be a senior and we need to bring somebody in. I brought in a freshman goalkeeper. Sometimes you wait until next year, but again, then the kid doesn't have any experience backing up or getting any minutes if she comes in and has to start straight away. So we have a kid by the name of Paige Salmon as well, and the two of them are neck and neck. One, obviously, Paige is a freshman, but comes in with a pretty good background. She's lefty, commands her box well, strong on balls in the air, talks a lot communication-wise. So she's a total package. She could come in and play right away. And then we have Nikki Della Porta, who's been there, been here for 3 years. Had a great freshman year, struggled a bit her sophomore year, and then had a good junior year. We weren't a great side last year, but it wasn't her fault by any means. So the two of them, are battling. I wish I knew who was going to start, but I hope I don't make that decision until the day of the game, because the two of them, either one, I feel perfectly fine, being a goalkeeper for the next year.
All right, Coach, so that's your roster. With that roster, what are your expectations going into the season? Maybe you could please talk about what are some of the goals, either individually or as a team, that you have discussed with both your players and your coaching staff.
I mean, the overall goal every year is to make the conference playoffs. There's an automatic bid in the women's side, so it's pretty much you get in the 4 and you win 2 games and you're in the NCAA tournament. It's now 3 seasons ago. We made it. We advanced in penalties against the number 1 team in the country and made it to the final and lost 1-0. But we're a game away from making the NCAA tournament. That was a great feel the whole season. The kids bought in. The kids, were ready to get there. That's always the goal, but we need to make lesser goals, like every day being focused, team chemistry. Those are the things that our goals are, and then with that, hopefully, we'll win some more games. Obviously, we only won 3 games last year. Our goal at this point is to get to double digits. You start winning 10 games and you make a 6-7 game swing. I think people start turning their heads, and the program at least becomes a little bit more stable. I believe that this team has the capability of making a lot bigger run. And it'll start the first weekend. We came out last year, started a lot of freshmen, had a lot of turnover, and we got pounded the first weekend. We'll play the first 2 games again this year, and I don't anticipate that by any means. Obviously, I didn't anticipate that last year, but I really don't anticipate that this year. And I think that if we come home with a successful first weekend, I think people in this region and across the country should be careful, because I think this team here has what it takes to win day in and day out, which we haven't in years past.
All right, great, Coach. I think all these answers are definitely going to give our fans a little insight and preview for the 2014 women's soccer season at Molloy. And finally, Danny, before I let you go, how do you see the ECC shaping up this year?
It's, obviously each team changes year to year. We won 3 games last year. I anticipate winning a lot more. The teams that won 10 games want to win 15, and so on. So, you always have your big names, the Bridgeports of the world, the LIU Posts of the world, Dowlings of the world. Mercy has jumped. John Feinstein, the coach over at Mercy, has done a tremendous job and has really pushed that program to an elite status. And, they got an at-large bid for our conference to get an at-large bid last year. Actually, I take that back. They won the conference playoffs last year. But I think, were in the mix to get an at-large bid if they didn't. But they'll be back. Queens every year has been tough. And the team that you throw into the mix as well, the Roberts Wesleyans and the Damons of the world, that you don't know as much. You don't hear as much about. You don't recruit the same type of kids. And now that Roberts Wesleyan is available for postseason competition, that's really going to be, a team that everybody has to keep their eyes on. But, the other teams every year change. You got New York Tech, St. Thomas Aquinas has made a big jump. Damon was the first year playing this conference, but I think they'll be a lot better. And I'm sure I'm missing a couple of teams that I can't think about. But I think we're in the mix. You got to come in and play every day. the same. No matter who, if you're playing Bridgeport or you're playing whoever, you got to play it as if it's a Bridgeport game. And if we do that and we're consistent, I think we'll be in the mix in the end.
All right, that will wrap it up for the 2014 women's soccer season preview with head coach Danny Longo. Remember, fans, the Lions kick off their season on September 5th when they play Bentley up at Merrimack College in North Andover, Massachusetts. That game will get underway at 4 p.m. Danny, thanks for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Jack.
And thanks for tuning in, everyone. And remember, united, we are Molloy Lions.